Christmas was always my favorite holiday until it became the most terrifying time of the year. Allow me to explain. I'm Melody, by the way. Nice to meet you. My brother Major and I attend church every Christmas Eve with our parents. It's familiar, like a favorite song with gingerbread sweetness and the warmth of hot cocoa on a snow-covered night.
Better get ready. We're leaving in 15 minutes,
my dad said, straightening his tie as he came down the stairs and joined Major, my mom, and I in the living room. At our church, they do a play about the birth of Jesus. I've been in it many times. I usually play Mary. This year, they decided to let another girl have the part. That was fine by me. I'm getting too old for that sort of thing anyway. They also sing a lot of Christmas music at our church. The songs are old, but they tell meaningful stories. I listen a little closer than most 12-year-olds because my mom is a singer. I don't know why they say wrinkle-free when there are wrinkles every single time, Mom said, pressing her steaming iron against Major's red button-down shirt. Mom started her ritual, where she hums musical scales, yawns, and sighs to relax her vocal muscles. She sings O Holy Night in front of the church every Christmas Eve. It's at the end when everyone's holding little white candles and the lights are dimmed low. My dad plays the piano while Mom sings. I've noticed some people in the crowd cry a little when they perform. My parents are hoping that Major and I get into music too. They're pretty cool as far as parents go. Mom flipped Major's shirt, running the iron over it. I could tell something was bothering her the last few days, but I hadn't figured out what. I hoped it wasn't Major and I. Let's just say this year we probably wound up on the naughty list. And we were about to make our biggest mistake yet. Here we are, Mom said, tossing Major's shirt against his face. Get your shoes on, it's time to go.
Do you want to tell her or should I?
Major said. Tell me what? Melody, why are you not in your dress? Yeah, about that, I started. The thing is, after church, we'll go to Claudette's for sliders and strawberry milkshakes, Mom said, offering an unconvincing smile. I hadn't been looking forward to this, but it was time to break the news. Major and I want to stay home and watch Christmas movies, I said. It's been so busy for weeks, and we haven't had time to watch a single one. Mom opened her mouth but said nothing and tilted her head in confusion.
We've also got presents left to wrap,
Major said.
There's some essential stuff we've got to get under the tree.
We didn't want to lie to our parents, especially at Christmas. But the truth was, this was no ordinary night.
You can watch a movie and wrap presents after church,
Dad said. It wasn't that simple. You see, Major and I cannot get enough when it comes to terrifying ghosts, mysterious monsters, or creepy creatures. We love watching scary movies and reading spooky stories, like our parents love music. It's what we do year-round, not just at Halloween. Can you keep a secret? This Christmas Eve was the one-night-only streaming of Curse of the Carolers, the last movie ever made by Julian Chaney. He's only the greatest horror director of all time. The movie became more of an event once Chaney died in October. There were many rumors, but no one's exactly sure what happened to him. Many people speculated that Curse of the Carolers would offer a clue as to how Chaney died or his whereabouts now. I'd also been looking forward to this movie for months because man-made movies have become a thing of the past since the AI takeover. Curse of the Carolers was about a group of witches in a small town who disguised their spells as Christmas carols to manipulate people's deepest fears and turn neighbors against each other. I'd never been so excited to watch something in my entire life. The problem was Curse of the Carolers was streaming one time only, which happened to be the same time as church. Mom wouldn't allow it. We spend Christmas Eve together as a family, she said. At church. I'd spent all December trying to think of new excuses. I know, but we've not had time to ourselves lately, I said. We really want to stay in and relax with a nice Christmas movie before another Christmas passes us by. We'd run out of we're sick strategies. I'd already faked being sick to get out of school last week. I can't believe I'm telling you this. I put on a little makeup to make my face look pale, locked myself in the bathroom for an hour, and pretended to gag and groan while Mom listened outside the door. It worked until she came home early and caught me having gummy bears, chocolate, and soda for lunch. Major already tried too. One morning, he did a great job squinting dramatically, acting like light was hurting his eyes. He even put in a bunch of eye drops that dripped down his face. It looked pretty believable, until Dad caught him wide-eyed and watching a scary movie on his tablet. There'll be no skipping church just to watch some movie you've already seen 100 times, Mom said. That was the other problem. Mom had no idea which Christmas movie we really intended to watch. It was best that way because my parents would have never approved of Curse of the Carolers.
You can watch all the movies you want tomorrow,
Dad said. He wasn't wrong, but that wouldn't work either.
It's not the same. It'll be too late then,
Major said.
And we've got some surprises to finish getting ready before Christmas. You'll see.
Mom exchanged glances with my dad. That's great, but you're still coming with us to church. Those surprises will have to wait till later. Oh, Mom, my sweet, beautiful Mom. I hated myself for withholding the truth. But I had another last-minute idea. We'll stream church on the app while we wrap the rest of your presents. They really give a good digital presentation of church now for those who are unable to attend.
Right, but you two are very much able to attend,
Dad said.
You heard your mom. We're going to church, and that's the way it is. Besides, you guys love church on Christmas Eve. We do, but if you let us stay home this time, I'll double my chores for 2 weeks,
Major said. 2 weeks was more than I would have bargained for, but we were getting desperate.
Come on, I'm sure there's something we can work out here.
Dad sat on the sofa, tying his black dress shoes.
This is not a negotiation. Let's go.
We were out of time. Mom was out of patience. I don't know what's gotten into you both, she said, removing her coat from the closet, but I'm not going to be late. I'll meet you in the car. Handle this. She slammed the door on her way out. Dad stared at us.
Your mother has had a lot on her mind lately. Trust me. You'll wish you'd come to church with us. You know what this means to her.
My heart sank.
You don't want to disappoint your mother on Christmas, do you?
Guilt weighed me down like overloaded presents packed on Santa's sleigh. I still couldn't resist. I had to see that movie no matter what, even if it meant disappointing Mom, even if it meant missing church on Christmas Eve for the first time. I took a deep breath. The words came out before I could think them through. You're right, Dad. This isn't a negotiation. I'm sorry.
We're not going.
Mom honked the car horn outside.
I don't think you should keep her waiting,
Major said.
We're old enough to be at home by ourselves. Everything will be fine.
We'll watch Mom sing on the app, I said. I promise. Disappointment spread across Dad's face. He shook his head.
This is not right. You should be with your family on Christmas Eve.
I looked at him, but didn't reply. Mom continued honking the car horn, and Dad opened the door to join her.
I'll call to check on you later,
he said, closing the door, locking the latch, and driving off a few moments later. We'd watched an hour of Curse of the Carolers when an insistent knock came at the door, and my breath caught in my throat. We weren't expecting anyone, and my skin was already crawling.
Who could that be?
Major said. He went to the door, looked through the peephole, and whispered,
It's Grandma.
I thought for a moment. Mom. This was so Mom. She'd called Grandma to come check on us. She lived by herself just outside the city. Grandma knocked again and rang the doorbell.
What do we do?
Major said, nodding toward the movie playing on the TV. Like we have a choice, I said. It'll be fine. Open the door. Major hesitated. Kids, I know you're home, Grandma said, knocking harder from the other side of the door. I'm turning into an ice cube out here. Open the door, I barked at Major as I got up. He opened the door when I got close, and a gust of wind rushed through us as our eyes met Grandma's. Merry Christmas, she said with a warm smile. Merry Christmas, Grandma, I said, and noticed a 6-pack of bottled root beers resting on 2 large pizza boxes in her arms. We didn't know you were coming. She stepped inside. Who's up for cheese pizzas? Grandma just got us and always had. She handed the pizza boxes to Major. She hugged me tightly, removing her beige gloves and coat, set down her tote bag, and went to the kitchen. I checked the driveway. No parents. Grandma's car wasn't there either. Snow swirled under the amber glow of the streetlights, like hundreds of sparkling white sequins falling from the sky. This should have been a perfect Christmas Eve. I shut the door. Did you book a ride over, Grandma? Yes, I did. With that app you showed me, you know I don't drive in the snow. Do you like my cardigan? She extended her arms, showing off her sweater. It had patterned snowflakes and Christmas trees. Grandma was always festive. It's perfect for you, I said. I was always glad to see Grandma, but this drop-in stumped me. It's great to see you. Did Mom call you? Yes, she did, Grandma said. I thought we were busted and wouldn't get to finish Curse of the Carolers. Major and I returned to the sofa with pizza in hand and continued watching anyway. Maybe she wouldn't notice. Grandma looked at the TV with suspicion. Shouldn't you kids be at church? Of course we should have, but we couldn't say that, so we kept quiet. Grandma joined us on the sofa and brought root beers. I was optimistic that we could finish the movie. The pizza was the best I'd ever had. Delicate vapor trails curled from the golden brown crust. Creamy mozzarella cheese melted in my mouth. We arrived at the 3rd act of Curse of the Carolers. The witches had already taken over the town. They were performing a ritual where they summoned a sinister spirit that promised eternal youth. Blood dripped from the witch's palms during the ritual, and the spirit looked hideous when it emerged. Oh my, what are we watching? Grandma said. What's this rated?
It's called Curse of the Carolers,
Major said, disregarding her second question. There wasn't much left to go in the movie, but there was a chance Grandma would make us shut it off. Instead, she sat up, stared intently at the screen, took a bite of pizza and said, This is delightful. I couldn't tell if Grandma liked the movie or was just happy to be with us on Christmas Eve. It had to be lonely out there at her house, especially since my granddad passed away last year. We made it to the end of Curse of the Carolers. The witches dismantled that poor little town. The sheriff unlocked all the jail cells and let criminals run free. Neighbors went after each other once their buried sins came to light. One guy got electrocuted. Another drowned. Ghosts, spirits, and creatures unleashed all types of terror. Straight buck wild. My favorite part was the science museum scene when the witches summoned a polar bear exhibition to life and the bears hunted this mean old man who was in charge of the museum and always kicked kids out. An anthropologist and a firefighter who didn't get along spent most of the movie trying to beat the witches. They think they do, But one witch strolls down Main Street again in the last scene. Major gaped in amazement. I couldn't hold back my grin as the credits rolled. The movie was everything I'd hoped for and worth staying home to watch. The only question was, would Grandma tell what we'd done? Not one word about this to your mom and dad. Got it? Grandma said. Major and I nodded. That was a wonderful picture, she continued. It reminded me so much of the old monster movies I grew up watching. Grandma could see Major and I didn't get it. Where do you think your little horror hobby came from? She said. Certainly not your mother. I've been watching her all her life. When she was growing up, she was afraid and always thought something was lurking in the shadows trying to get her. She's probably forgotten about it by now. Grandma had lots of stories, layers, and interests. That's what was so cool about spending time with her. She's got this long metal detector and explores the beach for hidden treasure every summer. She keeps a hive of bees in her backyard and uses their honey to keep her skin looking younger. Dad says she even brews a drink called gin in her bathtub, but we're not allowed to try it until we're older. I had an idea and brought something I want us to do together, Grandma said. She lifted a piece of silver fabric from her bag with ruffled edges and little tie strings. This is a Christmas tree skirt, Grandma said, and we're going to customize it by painting on our handprints. We spread out a tablecloth we no longer used and laid the tree skirt on it. Grandma set up red and green paint on paper plates. We dipped our hands into the paint and carefully pressed them onto the tree skirt. There, we have it, Grandma said after leaving the last red handprint. Once it's dry, we'll finish by signing our names and writing the year. I felt less guilty about skipping church and Mom singing since we were doing our little surprise craft project. My parents would love our new tree skirt and that we were spending time with Grandma. Major and I wrapped our last couple of presents for Mom and Dad. I looked around the house. It was barely decorated this year. I wondered if it had something to do with whatever was bothering Mom. Let's decorate the house. There's still time, I said. I bet Mom and Dad went to Claudette's after church. Major was in right away. Yeah, let's do it, he said. They'll love it. You kids are so thoughtful, Grandma said. What can I do to help? How about some of those cookies you always make, the shortbread cookies? Let me see what we've got to work with. Grandma went to the kitchen and gathered the necessary ingredients, reciting aloud, flour, unsalted butter, salt, and sugar. Oh, and we've even got vanilla and sprinkles. I'll have 'em ready in 20 minutes. Perfect, I said, telling our AI speaker to play Christmas music. Volume up. Major and I found a box of Christmas lights in the attic and hung them around the living room. We set up Mom's snow globe set, Dad's Christmas train, and our Christmas lanterns with flickering wicks. I wrapped our staircase banister and fireplace mantle in evergreen garland. Major hung our stockings at the chimney, and I lit all the candles I could find. Grandma's cookies were baking in the oven when she checked the Christmas tree skirt and called us over. Okay, this is all dry and looking good. Sign your names with this marker and write the year. We all did. I'm going to send Mom a picture of the tree skirt, I said. She'll be so surprised. Grandma started to say something, but held back and raised her index finger. Are you sure? It would be more of a surprise if we just showed it to her once she gets back home. I have a lot of strong suits, but patience isn't often one of them. That's okay, Grandma. We're almost done with everything, and I want to give Mom a sneak preview of what we've been up to. I took a photo of the tree skirt and texted it to Mom. Well then, I guess it's done, Grandma said. I scanned the room. We did a good job with our decorating, given the time we had. Something was missing, though. I didn't immediately spot it. I sat on the sofa and watched the multicolor lights shimmer. Finally, it hit me. The nativity! Our nativity set belonged on the fireplace. Major, come help me find the nativity. I can't believe we forgot it. We returned to the attic and dug through boxes, searching for the nativity set. I thought we should keep it out all year once we found it. My phone vibrated in my pocket. Dad calling. Hey, Dad, I answered.
What is this photo, Melody?
His voice was trembling.
What are these handprints?
Well, when you dip your hands in paint and press them against the material, they leave a picture of your hand, I said. I'm surprised you haven't heard of this.
Why are there 3 sets of handprints?
Because there are 3 of us here. I had no clue why this was all so mysterious and alarming to Dad.
Who do you mean 3? Who else is there, Melody?
You could just read the names on the tree skirt, I thought to myself. I mean all 3 of us, me, Major, and Grandma. She's here too. She came over. Mom called her and told her to come, remember? There was no response. You're acting weird. Who else do you think is here? Dad didn't reply. Hello? Finally, Dad explained.
Melody, that's impossible. You see?
He started. I heard emotion rising in his voice.
I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but your grandma passed away last week. We didn't want to ruin Christmas, so we planned on telling you later.
My heart stampeded my body. How could this be? No, Dad. I just spent an entire evening with Grandma. Major did too. She's downstairs right now.
Melody, I'm so sorry to break the news to you this way, but that's just not possible. Your grandma, she's gone.
The revelation sledgehammered me with confusion, disbelief, and heartbreak. My hands trembled, and I was genuinely nauseous. What if it were true? What would that mean about the person who was downstairs baking us shortbread Christmas cookies?
What's wrong?
Major said. My mind raced for reasoning and arrived at one possible conclusion. I covered the phone with my hand. It's Grandma. Dad said she died last week.
That's not possible. She's right downstairs. Is this a joke because we didn't go to church?
I put my finger to my lips. Shh. You should have told us, Dad, I said into the phone. If Grandma died last week, then who's downstairs right now?
I don't know, but get Major. Go to your room and lock the door. I'm coming home right now. Go to your room and...
I hung up and whispered to Major. We gotta get out of here. That's not Grandma.
I don't believe you,
Major said.
If that's not Grandma, then who is it?
I don't know yet, but Dad wouldn't lie about something like this. I think that thing downstairs may be a mimic.
A what?
The Christmas music shut off below, and we lowered our voices. A mimic, a copycat. She's a ghost imitating Grandma. I read about them last summer. It's not anything good.
You mean that's someone or something else?
I stared back at Major. Whatever it was downstairs started singing with gusto, and we could hear the lyrics in the attic. It sounded exactly like Grandma. Long lay the world in sin and error pining till he appeared, and the soul felt its worth. We left the attic and tiptoed down the hall toward my room. I peered downstairs into the kitchen. She had a plate of delicious shortbread cookies with sprinkles and gazed at us with her familiar smile. It looked precisely like Grandma. She continued serenading us with the most terrifying rendition of O Holy Night I've ever heard. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices. We reached my room and locked the door when we heard her coming. I always thought of Grandma as a slightly framed, pocket-sized woman, so I was puzzled when I listened to the heavy creaking and groaning of the stairs. As she trudged closer, it sounded like someone was stretching a thick roll of tape and tearing wrapping paper open. There was a distinct clop, clop, and clicking noise with each step, and something sharp scraped against the walls. When we heard bone on bone grinding, I knew the horrifying harmony meant much more. For yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. The doorknob wiggled and then rattled violently. The lock was all that was saving us. It made her more furious. The door shook as she unleashed a barrage of blows, putting every ounce of her otherworldly power into getting us. Fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angel voices. Thump, thump, thump continued against the door, but it held up. She paused momentarily, and I heard her heavy, labored breathing. I had no idea what awaited us on the other side of that door, but I suspected it wasn't all human. Oh, Melody, Major, the voice said in Grandma's identical tone. Why don't you let me in? I would love to meet you.
Leave us alone,
Major fired back. I found another decoration we should put up, it said. What do you want from us? I blurted out. I just want to know where you think we should put these. With an ear-piercing crack, the door buckled and gave way. A crown of gold-tipped antlers, sharp as razor blades, shredded through, sending shards of splintered wood across the floor. With little barrier left between us, it kicked the battered door open. Confronting us was a beast unlike any I'd ever imagined. It stood upright and tall on two hairy reindeer hooves, wearing Grandma's pants, a Christmas sweater, and an apron. It had reindeer legs for arms and held out a plate of shortbread cookies, fresh from the oven. The creature's face was a mirror image of Grandma. A spectacular set of heart-shaped antlers were mounted on top of her head. It wore a wicked grin, grunted deep from its chest, stepped forward, and growled in a low, booming voice.
Merry Christmas.